What's happening, everybody? This is Bill, the Fox Body Phantom, and we're up here at Bass Cruise Night once again. We're heading towards the end of the year. This is the Trunk or Treat night tonight. Should be a ton of fun. I'm going to shoot some of our favorite cars as always, but we're going to also try to find some of the best decorated cars. So tonight, we're not going to do our Phantom favorite, we're going to do our spooky favorite. The best decorated car we see up here tonight, we'll share with you. So the first very cool car we're going to shoot up here tonight is this 1965 Chevelle Malibu. I saw the sleeper plate when I came up. I love the wheels. We've talked about the Steelies with, you know, the rally style center cap. It looks great in the body color. I love the sleeper plate. We've got like that turquoise interior that looks very factory minus the steering wheel. It is a 5-speed car, but as you get up to the front, you'll see we have a modern LS engine in here. So modern drivetrain and a very cool car. I love that they left the 283 tag on the side to kind of continue to give it the sleeper vibe, which is very cool. But you've added the modern performance touches under the hood, and you can see the Willwood brakes, the modern LS motor, everything fits in perfectly. It actually looks really nice under the hood too. Like, they definitely kept it in a show style, right? They didn't just put in a junkyard LS that would look rough. Everything looks very well done. You can see the suspension upgrades in the car. Just a really nice version of this 65. And I do love the sleeper vibe. I like that they kept the original 283 tag. 1958 Ford Custom 300. Obviously modified with the you know, flat black paint, the purple hood, the wire style wheels, the upgraded newer motor in the car, right? But this one was cool because they had decorated it too. So I like the flat black paint. I like the purple. I do like the car has been decorated for the Halloween stuff, so it's pretty neat. So again, share this one because I haven't seen it before. But you know, again, I think about when you think about these cars, like, this isn't going to be one that's going to stick out to a ton of people, but it does have presence. And I like going to a car show and seeing a show with presence that I haven't seen before. So it's here. They have some very cool A bodies, which was your immediate style body, kind of a mid-size back in the 70s and 60s. So your Chevelles, your Skylarks, your GTOs, your Cutlasses were all in that A body. So we have this beautiful 71 Malibu. This car I had to shoot because of the color for Halloween. The orange is awesome on the car, the rally style wheels. It is a Malibu with a white interior. We also have two beautiful 70 Buick GS 455 cars. So again, these cars are both absolutely stunning. We have the one in the green and the blue, both manual cars, both 455 cars. Absolutely look great. You know, I talked a lot about the Buick GSXs over the years. The GS was essentially the same car, it just didn't have all the, you know, all the ornate pieces that went on. It didn't have the side stripe and the spoiler, but it did have that big 455 with the 500 foot-pounds of torque, which was just a torque monster back then. These things back in 70 were as fast as anything on the road, guys. And unless you had a big block Corvette, there wasn't a lot that was beating this car back in 70 with this 455. 500 foot-pounds of torque. It was a monster. It would compete with the LS6 Chevelles, the GTOs, any of the Ford stuff that's out there. It was super cool. And again, a little bit upmarket. You see the interior on this. Really nice gauges. Really well put together, well thought out. You know, Buick was the gentleman's muscle car. So when you even look at this versus the Chevelle, you can see the upmarket touches in the Buick. It's absolutely beautiful. Love the color on both of these. They're both super sharp. And again, both manual cars. So very cool to see these three A-bodies. Truck, GMC. So essentially GMC's version of the El Camino. So it's a GMC Sprint. This is a 77. I really kind of like the design on that body line that goes across there. I think it's just a very cool style with that almost like crushed metallic feel. I'm not sure if that's just kind of deteriorated over the years. That's how it looks. But I like the wheels. This one was kind of neat. And again, as I was walking over there, the reason this stuck out to me, they did a really cool job with the Halloween decorations, having this little skeleton under the hood, kind of working on the car. So don't see the GMCs very often. You know, obviously the El Caminos are significantly more you know, readily available. You see them all the time. You don't see these ones, so I wanted to share this one with you. All right, guys, I'm up here today with Tom from the Northeast Chevelle and El Camino Association. He's going to tell us a little about the club and some of the cool cars they brought up here tonight. So, Tom, it's all yours.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So I'm Tom Walker with Northeast Chevelle El Camino Association. The club's been around since around 1990. I've been with the club for about 3 years now. We are based all over New England. Most of the board right now is from the Central Mass area, but we do events all through Massachusetts, Northern Connecticut, Eastern Massachusetts. We do a lot of cruises and rides. We like to show up at shows like this one. And we also like to have an annual regional event that we run in Westford every year at the Westford Regency. It's a big 2-day event where we have usually about 100 Chevelles and a bunch of people just hanging out, talking Chevelles and having a good time and catching up every year.
Very cool, Tom. Well, I am the head judge over at the Endicott show in Dedham. I don't know if your club's been there. We would love to have more of you guys next year, so they sent us an extended invitation. We hope to see more of it next year.
Absolutely, we'd love to come.
How do we find you?
You can find us at Neceka.com, Neceka.com.
And you say you have a YouTube channel too. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
I personally have a YouTube channel called Throwing Wrenches Garage.
Perfect. Look for Tom's channel. Come check these guys out. Some very cool stuff. So our next cool car up here tonight, you all know I love a 69 Chevelle SS. I thought I see most of them at the shows. I've not seen this one before. There were a couple things that stuck out that made me really like this version of the 69. So the 69 with the black side stripe, the black vinyl roof. I don't mind the larger wheels. You guys know I prefer the factory wheels, but these don't look bad at all. They actually look pretty, fairly period correct, which looks great. It was a 396 car, so it is a factory, big block car with the 350 horse, factory power steering, power brakes. So I love the color. I love the interior. He was explaining to me when he got the car about 3.5 years ago. So it was a factory car with all the options, no tack, added in AC because it didn't have it. I don't think any of that hurts the interior of the car. The interior looks great. The vinyl bucket seats, the wood steering wheel, which looks great. The SS gauges versus the bar speedometer, which is kind of the easiest big tell on these. And we were just chatting, and he and I have the same opinion, right? We both love the 68 vent windows, but we also like the taillights better on 69. So I think we're both in that same camp. But this one looks really nice. Like I said, I don't mind the big wheels. They actually look good with the car. The interior is super sharp, beautiful under hood. But the reason I like this car the most is that grille, which I talk about all the time. In 70, you'll see as we go over here, 70 to 72, they made that grille flush. In 69, they actually had that slanted grille, which actually looks incredible. So I love this version of the car. So guys, we have John's 1965 Malibu SS. This is a very special car. This is one of 201 Z16 cars made in 65. So what separates a Z16 car? 375 horsepower, 396, the big radiator, the wheel covers, which I love, which drew me over to this car. You'd see these as a wheel option on like the Pontiacs. Hearst would make a version of this. Looks great with the gold line tires. You also had the factory remote mirror, the M20 4-speed transmission. They also put the tack in this car in the middle of the gauge cluster and move the clock up. So if you see one of these, you can tell it's different. They put the Malibu SS emblems on the front fender. Typically it would have been here on the back quarter. And then they added in this very cool detail touch with this hockey stripe and then this molded piece of trim in here. So if you see this version of it, it is a special version Z16, one of 201 made, 375 horse. Now what John told me was interesting, this is an open differential car, so no posi traction on the car. So he said he hasn't really gotten into it to see. He said, when he read about it, they boxed the frame and gave it the convertible style frame, but he hasn't really gotten on the car to see if it will actually spin both wheels at the same time. And I get it, it's a beautiful restoration. Love the vinyl top. So John, thank you for sharing your very cool, very rare, one of 200 Z16 Malibu SS with us. So I'm going to share another couple of Chevelles up here. There's a lot of Chevelles in the video because we talked to the Chevelle Club and they brought some really nice stuff up here. We have this gorgeous 69 Chevelle SS, 396. But why I like this car, again, you didn't see a ton of SS convertibles. We have a black on black on black. Correct wheels, factory red line, manual car with the SS gauges. Again, beautiful black vinyl interior, but a black on black 69 convertible is a very cool car that you just don't see a ton of. I absolutely love this. And then we have this absolutely stunning Chevelle right next to us. I think it's the owner in front of it, so I'm gonna get a little more info and come back and talk about it in just a second. All right, so I found out about Jay's gorgeous 69 Chevelle. First thing I want to share, he's had the car for 33 years. This was his car in high school. About 3 years ago, Jay decided he wanted to kind of make this beautiful, Pro Street, Restamod, whatever you want to call this beautiful version of this car, and did it, over 3 years. And about 6 months ago, it was completed. When you look at this car, a couple of really cool things. 6-liter motor, huge turbo, 750 horsepower, 9-inch rear end with 355 gears. The car looks great together too. You see the wheels that went on there in the black. The car has been painted all around, so the blue color actually goes underneath into the chassis. Absolutely stunning version of this car. And again, if I can see different versions of 69 Chevelles, which is my favorite car, I'm gonna share a bunch. So thank you to the Chevelle Club for bringing these out. Jay, your car is beautiful. I love that you customized it, but you still kept it to honor the factory, right? The black stripes on the blue, but you didn't put them on the roof. The car looks great. The body lines look great. The interior looks relatively factory with the seats. We do have that shopping basket style shifter. The wheels, even though they're bigger, are like period correct style of wheels, so they look great. And even where I typically don't love like a black or body colored bumper, because of the way you built this and the build, I think it just flows very naturally within the car, so super sharp. So thank you for sharing this gorgeous 69 Chevelle street rod, rest of mod, whatever you want to call it. It is beautiful and it looks incredible, and I love the fact it's got a ton of power. And you even have a little guard over your turbo inlet, so well done. I would prefer a filter, but I do like that you have a guard. It looks very cool. So our next beautiful car up here tonight is Jim's 1967 Corvette. I'm going to talk about it a little bit from the back, but then we'll go to the front. Sunfire yellow, factory leather interior, which is fairly rare. He's owned the car for about 6 years. This was a Mecum auction car. It did go through the auction. Beautiful interior, but here's the showstopper. And again, Jim, thank you for making me smarter. This is the 435 horsepower. How we doing? This is the 435 horsepower 427 with the Stinger hood. Jim helped me understand that in this particular model, this was the highest horsepower version of the 427 that wasn't the L88, and they only made like 20 of those cars. You could not get factory air conditioning. So you could put everything together. It is a beautiful car. I love the color on it. The Stinger hood looks incredible, and a bunch of really nice C2 Corvettes. This one stood out to me because of the color, and obviously the Stinger hood, the big block. It is a very sharp car, but again, factory leather, 3x2, excuse me, carburation setup. And Jim and I were having a great conversation. He got it all squared away this year. He's had it for a few years. Finally got it running exactly the way it wants to. I bet you this thing drove so nice up here today in that 60-degree weather. It must have just been a beauty to drive, and it's a phenomenal car. And guys, you know we always try to share some of the cool stuff that's for sale. And what really wants me to help Jim out, Jim's a Vietnam vet, so thank you for your service, Jim. He has a very cool 1940 Chevy Special Deluxe hot rod. Car has a 355 in it that has less than 4,000 miles on it, 700R Ford transmission, so a nice automatic transmission. It's got a very cool flat red paint. It's got the really cool hot rod wheels. Jim's done a ton of work on this car to try to get it ready to where it wants to go. It's probably 85% to where you'd want to have the car. It's got a 2018 VW interior. He has all the parts to finish everything up, all the door cards, the carpets. So if you want an easy winter project to finish up and then have something that's really cool, that's worth much more than what he's asking for, this is a super cool car. And when you think of hot rods, this is a great style. You know, a lot of people want the 32 or 34 Fords. This is a hot rod that looks like a traditional hot rod, but it's a little bit different. The color's cool on it. All the hard work's been done mechanically, right? The body work is pretty good on it. You just got to do a little more to finish it off. So if you want to talk to Jim, the number is 401-429-9905, and he's asking $21,000 or the best cash offer. So if you're looking for something fun, going to a veteran he just can't really work on anymore. So if you're looking for something, reach out to Jim. Let's get this car sold. We're gonna give it some generalized information from what I know about these. So I believe it's a 52 or 53, which was that split window style. And these cars back then, these cars had the 13, I think it's 1130cc motor with the whopping 25 horsepower. But these cars were so cool. You know, I think about as obviously the Volkswagens evolved over time, and you can see this is obviously a much later model, get the bigger lights, but the style on the first generation of these early Beetles, you know, these were designed in Germany during like World War II. They were the people's car. They were for everybody. They were cheap. And most of us that grew up in the generation I did, you knew either you had a Beetle as your first car, or, you know a lot of people did because you get these for $500, you know, 40 years ago. Air-cooled motor, super easy to work on. If you wanted to learn how to wrench on a car, a Beetle was a great first car because it was easy. But then I see these early generations and I'm just blown away. The body looks very cool. The paint is beautiful. The wheels look great on the car. The interior on these is so small, and I always love the manual shifter in this because it looks so delicate. I mean, it's tiny. but these things are pretty robust. Like, they would run all over the place. They lasted forever. Again, easy to rebuild. So I wanted to share this early Beetle, which is not a car I usually share on the channel, but this is a beautiful version, and the color is just incredible. And we have a little open like sunroof on the car too. So very nice version of an early 50s split window Beetle. So guys, the owner's not here. I have no idea about this car other than I know it's like a Pontiac. I'm not sure what else it is. It's obviously a drag car, but I am shocked that it's street legal. So I wanted to just take a second to walk by it because I walked in, I saw a license plate on it, and then I looked back and there are actually headlights and taillights. So this is a street legal car. That is wild with the giant blower. Really, really cool. So again, I just wanted to hit it really quickly. I don't know a ton about it, but I thought it was cool and deserved to be in the video. The car we're gonna shoot up here today is Gary's 1964 Chevy Nova station wagon. Gary got this car out of a junkyard 7 years ago. Redid it with him and some friends, so all the work was done by him and his friends. The paint, the body work, the interior, the motor, all of it. This is a super cool car for a couple reasons. I love the interior. Gary did a great job. Put a power window back here, kind of customized the rear back here so you could put some really nice speakers. You got plenty of room for 4 people. The coolest part of this car is these beautiful custom wheels, 15 by 14. Like, that's like Lamborghini Countach wide wheel at a 15. It is wild, and it looks super cool on the car. As we walk to the front, you'll see with no door handles, everything's been shaved. We also have a 55 interior dash in here. Love the seats, love the color contrast with the red. And then we have a 355 Chevy motor with a Chevy Turbo 350 transmission. This car is super cool. Well done, Gary. Thank you for sharing it with us. You did an amazing job. You all know that I love like a muscle truck. I've shot the Little Red Expresses. I've shot the first and second gen Lightnings, the 454 SS pickup, the Cyclones and Typhoons. I think this is one of the coolest trucks ever made. And if it wasn't for the new TRX and the new Raptor R, this might have been like the coolest muscle truck of all time. This truck came out in 04. They made this truck for 2 years, 04 and 05. 04, I believe, was all of the regular cabs. 05 was all the extended cabs. They both had the 8.3 liter V10 out of the Viper, 500 horsepower, 22-inch Viper wheels. So the exact same style wheel as the Viper, but bigger. Again, 500 horsepower V10, 6-speed Tremec manual. This one has 14,000 original miles. Talking to Norman, he said he has all the paperwork from this car since it was new, the original window sticker, all the stuff that came with it. This was just a cool truck, and what was cool about this, while it was high performance, it was still designed to be used as a truck if you wanted it to. The bed was completely functional. You can take that spoiler off if you had big items. It had a really nice interior, right? So they actually incorporated kind of like the Viper seats, you know, the Viper gauges. So while it was a 1500 Dodge Ram truck, it had a ton of Viper touches. It was very cool, very fast. And if you talk to a lot of guys that love these, they want the 04. They want the version with the 6-speed manual, not the automatic. This one's a very cool version. So Norman, thank you for bringing it up and sharing it with us. All right, we've got a couple more Halloween themed cars up here that I wanted to shoot. Obviously the very cool Jeep, the very cool C2 Corvette. So I wanted to share these. They're very neat. So again, they've done a nice job with this, with the motor eating the person in there. Very cool. Jeep guys are super creative anyway, so very nice, very cool. I am a big fan of the Trans Ams and the Firebirds. This is a 73 Formula 400. I love the snorkel hood scoop on this, the design, that Endura nose that was very similar in a lot of the Pontiacs in this generation. You know, you think about the Firebirds, and they were, you know, again, super sporty, but they weren't the Trans Am. They were a little more upmarket when it came to like style and luxury. I love the trim rings. I love these wheels. They actually look great on the car. What I thought was wild on this car when I was looking at it, so this car has a couple of options, right? So if you take a look at the window sticker, the 4-barrel 400 V8 engine was a $97 option. To get the turbo hydromatic automatic was $236. And to get air conditioning was $400. So to go from a 350 to a 400 only cost you $100. To get the automatic was $300. To get the air conditioning is $400. That is wild. And I love that he has the window sticker to share that with us, because you start to forget, like, air conditioning was a luxury for a long time. Automatic transmissions were a luxury. So to see all that into this car, love the 400. The car is beautiful. I love the wheels, but that snorkel hood scoop, the fact that it is the Formula 400 makes this car pretty special, and I'm glad they brought it up here to share it with us. Super cool. So I think in the 80s, after the Countach, this is probably the most recognizable car of that decade. The Testarossa was super cool, came out in the early 80s. It was the ultimate GT car. A lot of people got their first exposure to this car with Miami Vice. It was a V12. It was a manual car. The wheels were incredible. You'd actually see a lot of stories back in like Motor Trend and Car and Driver back then. And my favorite one is they put 4 cars together. They had a Porsche. It was the 911, it was the Countach, it was the Testarossa, and it was a Lotus Esprit. And they were talking about being the fastest cars, and this car was incredibly fast for its time. What made this car iconic, again, the wheels look incredible, but it was those side strakes. These cars were typically in red. That was the main color they sold. Now, Testarossa actually stood for redhead. So if you actually look in the back of the car, you can see the actual red on top of the intakes. It was the red head on the car. You can see the red on the heads in here, right? So that's what Testarossa meant. So when they actually built this, it was a kind of a love letter to the 60s Testarossas that had the red heads. They were the racing engines. So this was a civilian, non-racing GT car that was designed to cruise with that iconic red head setup with the V12. And this one in black just looks absolutely incredible. Very cool car. Love the wheels, love the style. One of the coolest 80s cars of all time. So for our spookiest car up here tonight, and there might be some other ones, but this one really just stuck out to me as I was walking by. It's this 04 Mustang. This thing is very cool as far as the scare factor goes. They have a ton of decorations. I like the, you know, the little demon working under the hood. We've got a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas, the spiders, the skeletons. We've even got a skeleton driving the car. So this is kind of our spooky car of the night, this 04 SN95 Mustang, super cool. So I wanted to share this up here tonight. Call it quits. It's starting to get dark. One of my favorite nights I've had up here so far this year. The weather was great because it wasn't hot. You know, no humidity. I talked to a ton of great people. I promise you I didn't hit close to anything up here today, guys. There were well over 1,000 cars. It was packed. But I was able to talk to a couple of great folks, the Chevelle Club. I was able to shoot that 1940 for Jim, the veteran that was selling it. Saw some cool stuff all around. So thank you for everybody. If you haven't done it, please hit subscribe. We will have another show hopefully this weekend. If not, we will absolutely be in La Salette next weekend, I believe on the 12th, that's Sunday, for the Massachusetts Car Club, their annual show. So please go support that show. It's a great cause. Mike, who runs that club, is a young guy, is under 30, trying to keep the hobby alive. Let's support him. He does really cool stuff. And again, I appreciate all of you so very much for checking out the channel.